Hi, welcome to episode 98 of the Passionate Spinner podcast. My name is Tracy. You can find me as Schnüffeltier on Ravelry and Instagram. There is a Ravelry group for the podcast. Please come over and join. Thank you so much for being here, and let's get started because I have a lot of stuff to talk about. So, what I'm wearing is also my first thing for knitting in the past. It is the Piece of Silver sweater by Vera Välimäki. The pattern is in the first ever issue of Len magazine. And it's gorgeous. And I love it. It's very warm. I'm sweating to death here just for you. So it is a cropped sweater, as you can see, not very long. It goes perfect with my gray corduroy Hollyburn skirt. And so, that's so uncomfortable. This is what it looks like. I'm super happy with how it turned out. It looks exactly the same from the back because, you know, it's a sweater. Yeah, I didn't change a whole lot. The only thing I changed was the length for the sleeves. They should have gone until here, but you know, I ran out of yarn, so they don't. And I'm absolutely okay with it. They have a wonderful length, I think. And yeah, like I said, it's very warm. It is very, very warm. So the yarn that I used for this is, where is it? I used 3 different skeins of yarn. As you could see, you know, it's a faded sweater. The first yarn that I used, I think, is this one. I'm not sure. I used 2 skeins of Stimpy Lab, which is the first and the second yarn, and then Knitty and Color for the third yarn. And this is how much I had left of my 3 skeins of yarn. So this is them in order. That's it. That's the leftovers for my sweater. I'm super happy because, you know, these are just going to go in the bin because these are too small to do anything with. And that's just amazing because it means that I used up every single last bit of the yarn. And not having leftovers that you also have to deal with at some point is just amazing. So I'm super happy. So I did use, like I said, 2 skeins of Stimpy Lab Strong Sock and the Fishtown and Ophiuchus colorway. It's interesting for sure. No idea how to say it. So these 2 are the first 2. I'm not sure which one's which. You know, this camera and me, we just don't work. And the blue skein at the bottom is, like I said, Knitty and Color. And the colorway is for KT. So I'm super happy. I had less yardage that the pattern calls for. So, you know, it's not the fault of the pattern, it's my own fault, but I just thought, you know, I can make this work, and I did. So I knit the sweater, I knit the body of the sweater according to pattern, and I used whatever I had left for the sleeves, and it's perfect. So that's done. I think it's sweater number 6 this year. Not sure. It definitely is the 3rd fingering weight sweater. Yeah, 3 fingering weight sweaters in 1 year so far. Okay, now next thing that I have on the needles, or no, that I finished, is the Fading Waves shawl by Stephen West. I knit this for my husband for his birthday, and his birthday is in July. But you know, I gave it to him already because now he can still use it. In July, it's going to be way too warm. So, and he has used it every day since I gave it to him. It looks like this. It is gigantic. I can't even get the whole thing in, I think. No, it's not gonna happen. It is large. It's very large, which is good because my husband is quite tall. So this is, like I said, it's his birthday gift for this year. I knit everything according to pattern, and let me tell you, this folded picot edged, it took forever. But my problem was, you need, for the DK weight version, you need 4 skeins of yarn. 3 for the body and 1 for the border. And I should have had a leftover of each of these. And I ran out of all of them. I ran out on every single skein of yarn except for the one for the border, where I had this much left. So I'm not sure what went wrong here, but yeah. I think it turned out great. So let's try to tell you what I did here. This here at the bottom is Stimpy Lab, again, DK weight. Here, Stimpy Lab. I got a lot of her yarn a few years ago. So that's the warm DK. This is this color here. Then in here, I have a fade of this and the next color, which was another crafty girl in her worsted weight. And oh, that's the inside. We probably won't show. So who cares? Then up here, I have colors 2 and 3 until I ran out of 2 and I only had 3. And that is Gamer Crafting DK weight in the bookish colorway. And then because I ran out of this as well, I had to fade in another color and I used this yarn, which is another Stimpy Lab DK weight that I had left over from a hat that I made. So I had to use a bit of this to finish the shawl, but I think it's fine. And for the border, I used this yarn here. That's the only one where I had something left over. And this is Marigold Jen in her DK weight BFL. So yeah, that's a lot of yarn in here. 4 full skeins of DK weight. It is heavy. It is warm. It is very big. But it turned out amazing. It took me exactly a week to knit. I started it on a Tuesday and I finished it the Tuesday after, or something like that. It was 1 week of working. I'm so warm. Okay, so yeah, this is done. It's for my husband. I knit this on a US 7. That's a 4.5 millimeter needle as the pattern calls for. I had to attach 3 80 centimeter cables to each other to knit the border because it's worked all around in one go. And it is, like I said, a folded picot edge. So it looks like this from the right side and like this from the wrong side. I think that's a very neat way to finish off a shawl. It's also a way that takes forever. So yeah. Good. Now I've wanted to knit this shawl since I saw it at EYF in the booth of Stephen and Penelope, and the pattern came out and I started the day after because I really wanted to make it. I had the yarn ready to go. Everything was ready. So now I can get rid of those. So yeah, that's the shawl. And then this week I decided, okay, I have finished this, I have finished this, what am I going to work on? So I looked in my project bags and I found the Starting Point Mystery Knit Along by Joji Locatelli. It was her mystery knit along last year, and I did start it at the time, and I knit clue 1, and then I didn't. So I had both clue 1 pieces done, and I have decided that I did not want to finish the shawl because it's just not my style, which is fine. But I had these 2 knit pieces, you know, and what to do with them? I mean, it's 2 small triangles. And then I thought of an idea that I had years ago that I wanted to make, and that's a shawl pin board. And I used my 2 pieces of the Starting Point, the first 2 triangles that you knit, and I used those to make the shawl pin board that I've wanted to make for years. So here it is. It's nothing fancy. It looks like this. So what I did, I took the 2 pieces of knitting that I had and I seamed them together here. No, here. That way. So I made this square out of them. I did not weave in any ends. I knotted them together and just cut them. Because, you know, this is not going to get a lot of wear. So, and yeah, so this is what I did. Then I went downstairs in the basement and went looking for some wood that I could use for it. And this is just a piece of very thin plywood because I thought if the wood was too thick, this whole thing is going to get too heavy. And I didn't want that. So I took a piece of wood. I asked my husband to make a square out of it. he did. And then with his help, we stapled the knit piece onto the wood on 3 sides. Then I stuffed it with a bit of fiberfill to make it, you know, a bit 3-dimensional. And we stapled the last side, put on a hanger. That's this beautiful ribbon that I have. And that's it. That's my shawl pin board. And like I said, I wanted to make something like this forever, but I just couldn't bring myself to knit up a piece of fabric so that I can, you know, staple it to wood. But I had this piece of fabric and there was no other use for it. So I am super, super, super happy with this. As you can see, there's only 2 shawl pins on. I have a full box of them, but ever since we moved to this house, this box has disappeared and I haven't found it yet. So I hope to find it sometime in the future so I can attach all of my shawl pins to my shawl pin board. So yeah, and this is hanging in my reading room right now. And it makes me very happy. Whenever I look at it, I'm just so happy. I'm so, so, so happy with how this turned out. So yeah, my starting point piece was used. And yeah, I have a shawl pin board now. It's roughly 30 by 30 centimeters in size. So it makes me super happy. And now I have the 5 skeins of yarn again for a different project. And I think I'm going to knit the winter wheat, which was my original plan for the yarn. So I think this is gonna go that way again. I have to let in some air. This turtleneck is really warm. I mean, really, really warm. I'm sorry. That is it for knitting in the past. For knitting in the present, I have 2 things. I have resurrected another started sweater. When I took this out of hibernation, I had done the turtleneck and the first row after, and that was it. So I knit this whole thing in 2 weeks, which is pretty nice, but you know, it's also stocking it around. So, and the other sweater that I decided to take out of hibernation and work on is the Timeless Henley by Joji Locatelli. I have it in here in my project bag that I made. I have started this in September 2016 and I didn't get far because I just somehow lost my love for it. And I'm gonna tell you why in a second. So let's take everything out that I have. So also these 2. The Timeless Henley is a pattern by Joji Locatelli. It's in Interpretations book number 3 that I did not bring, but why? You know, oh, my nose is running and I do not have something to blow it, do I? Oh, shit. Now this is wonderful. I'm such a role model when it comes to podcasting. I'm going to have to find something to blow my nose. I'm sorry. Oh. The box that I had next to me fell to the floor, so sorry. Okay. Okay, now let's talk about the Timeless Henley. Like I said, the pattern is in Interpretations book number 3. And I have started it out of yarn that I had ordered from Insomniac Designs in the colorway He Who Must Not Be Named, which is, you know, a Harry Potter reference. I love the yarn, I love the color, but there is a but, and that but is very frustrating to me right now because it makes me do a lot more work on this than I should have had to do. So I'm going to show you my 3 skeins all next to each other. And I'm pretty sure you can already tell what my problems are. These 3 skeins are so different in intensity that I had to do a lot of work. And it's not that visible in the yarn when you look at it now. It is very visible in the knitting. So when I got the yarn and I had decided on the pattern, I immediately saw that I had 2 darker and 1 lighter skein. So I decided to do all the ribbing on the Henley in the lighter color. And the Henley is ripped at the top and then of course for all the hems. So I started out with the top ribbing part. And here you can see how severe the difference is. So I had done the back until maybe here, and then I stopped. So I did finish the back. I picked up the fronts, did the ribbing on the front, ribbing on the other front, and then I started the main pattern, which is a lace pattern. But the problem is, as it is a Henley, the lace pattern and the button bands, you know, are worked in the round, or, you know, flat until you join in the round and you're done with your Henley part. So my problem is, as I had done the ribbing at the top in the light yarn and started the button band in the light yarn, I wanted to finish the button bands in the light yarn because there would have been such a severe break in the button band that I wouldn't have liked it. So I had to do a bit of work there. So what I did, I'm not sure if this makes sense to you at all. I wound off 2 bobbins of the lightest colorway that I'm using for the ribbing so that I could use these for the button bands that are attached, you know. And then I had to alternate these 2 skeins to make sure that they blend together, because one of these is way darker than the other, as you can tell probably, to make those work. So I had 4 skeins of yarn, or 2 full skeins and 2 bobbins at the same time to work with. And the way I did it was, these are basically knit in tarja. You know, I twisted them in the back with these yarns and just had one of those on each side for the button bands. Now this is a lot of work. It's a lot of work, but I hope it's going to be worth in the end, because you can just see the difference is really, 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 really visible. So I'm glad that I did what I did. Although it means that I have a million ends to weave in. I'm not sure if you can see how many ends I already have dangling from this thing. But yeah, it is just such a visible difference. I'm not sure what went on. I have the skeins at the same time. I think they were dyed to order. And I love the yarn. It's super nice to work with. I love the colorway. I'm just a bit disappointed that the 3 skeins that I received are so different. So different. But yeah, the sweater is going to be great. I'm really excited about it. And I knit on it a lot. I'm using, now this is the part. This sweater is knit on a US 3, a 3.25 millimeter needle. That's a very thin needle. There's also ribbing in the side seam, or, you know, there's no seam, but there's ribbing on the sides. I did not do the ribbing on the sides in a different yarn because, you know, that's just the body, and no, that was too much, even for me. But yeah, I'm very happy with it. I think it's going to be amazing. But, you know, like I said, right now it's a lot of work. And also, my skein minder and me, we disagreed, and I now have 2 skeins of this yarn. So even more ends to weave in. But yeah, this is coming along nicely. I'm knitting it on the Clover interchangeables that I love. They're super pointy and great for the lace pattern in here. So yeah, I'm gonna put it back in the bag now. I'm going to work on this later, I think. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, it's out of hibernation. I've worked on it for the past 2 weeks, and I think it's going to be super pretty when it's done. And then for my new thing, as I finished this sweater 2 days ago, I cast on something new yesterday. And I did cast on for the ST, or I'm going to say ST top by Justina Lakowska. And I am taking a class with her in Dublin at the Woolen Festival. I'm going to go in 2 weeks. And so here it is. That's the top that I started. That's what it looks like. It is it's an oversized top. And I like oversized things because I don't like close-fitting stuff. So I am using Macmillan Fiber Company Sea Wool. That is a superwash merino and sea cell blend. Oh, great. Now, the sirens are going off. If you hear them, don't worry. It's the first Saturday of the month. It's 11 o'clock, and that is when the sirens go off because they have to make sure that they work. And now my cat wants in because he's outside and he's freaking out. So I'm going to stand up again. Such a great podcast today. Yeah. Come on. So I'm just going to pretend that there are no sirens. They're going to stop in a minute. So, like I said, McMullen Fiber Company in the sea wool, and I'm using this beautiful sunflower colorway. It is called sunflower, and it's just this beautiful, beautiful yellow. And I'm not that far in. You know, I started yesterday evening, and I just finished the shaping for the neckline and joined it in around. So here is the lace pattern. I think it's pretty, very pretty. I love the color. I think this will make a wonderful summer top, and the yarn feels like a perfect yarn for a summer top. I don't know, this sea cell stuff must make it a bit cooler, I guess. I'm not sure, but it knits up wonderful. It just looks great. It feels great, super happy with it. And yeah, I'm just happy that I am able to use this yarn. I had this yarn in my stash for a few years now because I wanted to make a shawl originally, but you know, top is so much more worth it. So, and it is really gorgeous. So that is what I'm working on. The Estee and the Henley, and that's it. Now, knitting in the future. I didn't bring anything because I want to focus on these two things. And then I'm probably going to pick out another started sweater from my, you know, box of started sweaters and cast on something else. I'm not sure yet what, but we'll see. Now, spinning. I have spinning. For the first time in forever, I have spinning. And I have it in here. This is my beautiful yarn bowl that I got just a few weeks ago. And in here is what I'm spinning. I'm spinning Rolex from Bakewell Hearts. And I'm spinning them on my spool spindle from Mattes Spindles. They are a German spindle maker. And this is what I have so far. That's 1.5 Rolex roughly on this little bobbin here. And when it's full, I'm just gonna take it off and pop my next bobbin on. It looks like this. So yeah, I'm gonna show you one of the Rolex that's intact. They look like this. I think the colorway name for those was Tutti Frutti. And they're really, really, really pretty. And I just like to look at this thing, you know, and my beautiful yarn ball. Gizmo! Nein! Hey! Now he wants out again, and he's scratching the door. Nein! So yeah, it lives in here. I'm spinning on it every now and then, just a little bit, and I really enjoy it. So yay, spinning. I also really, really need to get back to the orange stuff, and I might spin on that tonight. We'll see. Now for new stuff. I have 2 small things for new stuff. I received a wonderful package from my friend Erin, and she sent me yarn because she thought that I wouldn't be able to get the base here in Germany. And she's right. It's a Corriedale Superwash Corriedale Nylon Blend. It's a sock yarn. It is by Deep Dyed Yarns, the Buddy Sock Base, and she sent me 2 skeins of it, and they are both just so beautiful. Now, I've already decided what to do. This one is going to go in a fade with other yarns that I have already here next to me, and I will make a sweater. And this one here will become a pair of socks for my husband. So, aren't they just gorgeous? And the Corriedale feels so nice. I love Corriedale. I love spinning Corriedale, and it just feels great as yarn. So thank you so much, Erin. I love these. And then I got the West Highland Way book by Kate Davis. I was in the club, and I have everything, of course, digital, and now I have the book, and it is so beautiful. This book is just so pretty. I'm really happy that I have it. I have all of her books, I have to say. I love her aesthetics. So I got this book in the mail. It's gorgeous. You should get it. No, don't fall. Reading, listening, watching. I'm still reading the Body Positive Power book by Megan Shane Crab. I was told it's called Crab. So here we are. This is the book. I have like 30 more pages, and I will not be able to show it to you next week because I already promised someone that I will send it to them. So I'm going to finish it and pop it in the mail. And yeah, it's a good book. It's still not totally speaking to me because it is a lot about diet culture, and I never in my life have done a diet, ever. So that part doesn't really resonate with me because, you know, it's about how to stop dieting, and I never did a diet. So yeah, but the part about loving yourself, I hope that that will resonate with me. We'll see. For listening, I listened to the first book in the Ruby Red trilogy by Kerstin Gier, and I listened to that in English because I wanted to try out the English version. And I have to say, if you think that this book sucks, I understand why. I have read it in German. I have listened to it in German. It's from a German author. That's the important bit. And the translation is just not good. Because I listened, I read the German, I listened to the German a few times. Now I'm listening to the English, so I know exactly what happens. And yeah, it's just not that good. I feel a bit bad for Kerstin Gier because she basically lost the whole English-speaking market because this translation is just awful. But yeah, I'm on the second book now. I'm gonna listen to all three of them because I got all three of them. And maybe it will change, you know, but so far I'm not the biggest fan. Mainly, I think, because they changed the main protagonist's name. The whole thing takes place in London, and the protagonist's name is Gwendolyn, which is an English name, and they changed it to Gwyneth, which is a different English name. And I don't understand why, because Gwendolyn is not a German name, you know. If it were like Theresia, which is my name, I totally understand if they changed it because no one's able to say it. But it's an English name. I don't get it. That's just, it's sad. Okay, I didn't watch anything talk worthy, so there's nothing there. I didn't sew either. No, didn't. I cut a backpack, but I didn't sit down to sew it yet, so nothing to show there. For everything else, I have a few little things. First, and I know my announcements come later and later every time. Tonight is a VKN. So if you are happening to watch this today, there's a VKN taking place tonight. It's 9 o'clock my time. It's 9 p.m. Berlin time. I think it's GMT +1. I'm not sure because of summertime stuff. But yeah, Berlin time, 9 p.m. VKN. The link will be provided, as always, in the Ravelry group in the VKN thread. So hop on over, click the link, and join me tonight for a bit of knitting and talking and having fun. And then the other thing that I did, I started this week, this week. I did some daily writing, and not in a diary thing where, you know, the way you did it when you were 13. I am doing it very different. I decided on words, you know, a word a day, and I write down my thoughts about it. And my words are very much reflecting my feelings right now. And I feel like it does help me a lot. It helps me think about my life in general. It helps me get out thoughts that I'm not able to say, you know. And yeah, I think that was a good idea that I had. And if you're interested in doing something like that, I'm sharing my daily word on my Instagram page. And I'm not sure yet which word I will choose for today. Yesterday was body. The day before was age. I also have already done regret. I don't even remember. Worth. Self. Motherhood. I think I did. Yeah. So I did balance. And I have a long list of words that I want to work my way around sometime in the future. And yeah, like I said, it makes me think and what's the word? Kind of yeah, look back a bit and appreciate what I have. Which it's not that I don't appreciate what I have, you know, I have a pretty awesome life and I'm very glad about it. But when I did regret, for instance, I thought about if I did regret some, you know, big decisions, and the only thing that came to mind was my career, my job. I love being a teacher. I think it's a wonderful job. And now the postman's here. Great. He will have to pop it somewhere else. So, yeah, some days are just weirder than others. Yeah, I thought about regret because I had like 3 things in my head that I wanted to do, and teacher was kind of the last one of those. But I'm very happy that I pursued it, because the first choice when I was a teenager was having a career in music. Something you probably don't know about me, because why would you? This is a knitting podcast. It's not about music. But I did play an instrument for 10 years. I played the euphonium. I'm not sure if you know what that is, but I did play that for 10 years. And I had the opportunity to pursue a professional music career with the euphonium and my voice, which, you know, you will never ever hear me sing, but it would have been possible that you would. So that is one thing that I thought about lately, if that was maybe a wrong decision. But if I had pursued my music as a career, I would never have landed where I am now. So I'm very happy that I didn't, actually. And the second thing that I thought about for a bit was doing translations, you know, getting into English-German translation. Now you know why I didn't do that, because I can't even say the word. I thought about becoming a translator for English, because my English was I've always loved English, you know. I do my daily writing in English, not in German. That should tell you something. So, and yeah, I couldn't do that because it was a private school and I just couldn't afford to do it. So yeah, I ended up being a teacher, and that's something that I, you know, just thought about when I did regret. But I don't regret it, actually, not really. So yeah, that's probably the last time I will ever talk about my daily writing, other than, yes, I'm still doing my daily writing, and no, I will not tell you what I'm talking about in my daily writing with myself. So I'm weird. I'm sorry. The other thing that I did, I did write down a sweater pattern for myself. It looks like this, and it is a generic pattern for fingering weight sweaters. And I did this. I'm gonna show you just the top of this, so as you can see. This whole page here, second page, is based on the Flex Light pattern by Tinka Knits. This first page here, which is just shorter shaping for the neck, is based on the Ravello pattern, because I really like the neck shaping of that one and I like the shaping of the other one. So I put them together, I had it laminated, and this is going to be my sweater pattern that I'm going to knit up probably 1,000,000 times with all the yarn that I can find. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. And now I'm going to stop because yeah, I think it's better that way. I hope you all have a wonderful time. I hope I will see some of you tonight for the weekend. I'm sorry for this weird podcast episode, but you know, that's who I am and that's what you get. So I hope you all have a wonderful time, a wonderful weekend. I hope I will get to you before 3 weeks are over, you know, but I cannot promise that. And until I talk to you next time, I hope you all have a wonderful time. Enjoy everything you do. Bye.